Greetings and grace. Hey, I pray you're well today. We are talking about the Acts of Philip. All right, so the book of Acts, chapter 8, and we're going to be reading verses 26 through 40. Philip and the Ethiopian. Now an angel of the Lord said to Philip, go south to the road, the desert road that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza. So he started out, and on his way he met an Ethiopian eunuch, an important official in charge of all the treasury of the Kandake, which means Queen of the Ethiopians. This man had gone to Jerusalem to worship, and on his way home was sitting in his chariot reading the book of Isaiah the prophet. The Spirit told Philip, go to that chariot and stay near it. Then Philip ran up to the chariot and heard the man reading Isaiah the prophet. Do you understand what you are reading? Philip asked. How can I? He said, unless someone explains it to me. So he invited Philip to come up and sit with him. This is the passage of scripture the eunuch was reading. He was led like a sheep to the slaughter, and as a lamb before its shearer is silent. So he did not open his mouth. In his humiliation he was deprived of justice. Who can speak of his descendants? For his life was taken from the earth. The eunuch asked Philip, tell me please, who is the prophet talking about, himself or someone else? Then Philip began with that very passage of scripture and told him the good news about Jesus. As they traveled along the road, they came to some water, and the eunuch said, look, here is water. What can stand in the way of my being baptized? And he gave orders to stop the chariot. Then both Philip and the eunuch went down into the water, and Philip baptized him. When they came up out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord suddenly took Philip away, and the eunuch did not see him again, but went on his way rejoicing. Philip, however, appeared at Azotus and traveled about, preaching the gospel in all the towns until he reached Caesarea. So, how beautiful is that? Ultimately, the Acts of Philip. I want to learn more about Philip because I like his style. I like that they were traveling, and he noticed that, the eunuch, the young man, was reading. And he was like, hey, okay, I see you're reading. Do you know what it's about? And the fact that in verse 29 where it says, the Spirit told Philip, go to that chariot and stay near it. I think this is beautiful. This is so beautiful. He was obedient, which is a very important part of leadership, right? Being obedient to the Spirit of God. And then he said, okay, I see you reading the Isaiah the prophet. And then he asked him, do you understand what it is you're reading? And I think this was beautiful because he opened up the door by asking the eunuch, hey, do you understand what it is you're reading? And that gave him an opportunity to be like, you know what? I don't. Can you explain it to me? And so this was beautiful because now they were able to go ahead and read it. And then he was able to share the story of Jesus, the gospel of Jesus. And then as a result of him being, willing to even ask that question, willing to be obedient, to ask the young man the question, and then to pour mentorship and share what the passage, the prophet of Jesus was. You know what I'm saying? That's beautiful. I love that. I love that because ultimately, right, a lot of people will look up to you if you give them a chance, right? And if you give them a chance to be heard, right? Because a lot of times people just will teach and just share, right? But there's way more power in be like, hey, where is it that you're struggling right now? Or what is it that you're trying to learn? It's more direct, and it gives the person, the student, the opportunity to be like, you know what? I don't know this, or I would like to know that. And that's part of the art of listening, which is so beautiful. This is just so beautiful. And because for the fact that, he was like, you know what? Yeah, I see there's water there. I want to be baptized. This is so awesome. Like, I want to read more about Philip. So today, the encouragement is, I know I talked about letting soda go. I had some ginger ale today. Y'all, the importance of this leadership today, we're talking about his obedience to the Spirit of God, and then his willingness to teach someone who ultimately just needed some more understanding. And Philip was able to do that and then take it a step further by, being there. To be like, okay, you want to be baptized? Like, he wanted to be baptized. He pointed out himself. He said, let's go do it. And then it says, Philip traveled about and he preached the gospel in all the towns until he reached this Caesarea, however you say it. I think that's beautiful. I love that. A lot of times it's the willingness, the commitment. So let me ask you this. What are you willing and committed to? Because that's also tied to your leadership. All right. Thank you so much.